everyone, I'm Aria. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today we are recreating the Duke of Hastings home from Bridgerton. This was actually a request from a viewer, so thank you to oddcreature762 for requesting this. I hope this is the right one and I really hope you like it. If anybody else would like to request anything, then please feel free to leave me a comment. So this is quite a long video, so I have timestamped it for you for anyone who is short on time today and would like to skip straight to the screenshots. I completely understand. And thank you for clicking on this video. So for everybody else, so I haven't watched much of Bridgerton. I've actually only watched like 4 or 5 episodes. I don't really watch that much like TV. So I've not really seen very many shows or anything, and when this was requested I hadn't seen any of it, and so I figured it was probably a good idea to watch a little bit of it if I was going to build something from it. So in that kind of process I also thought it was a good idea to try and Google the houses and try and figure out if I could find like more pictures, a floor plan, anything like that. And I actually found quite a bit of information about this house, which I thought was really interesting, so I hope you don't mind. But I'm going to nerd out a little bit and share some information with you. Obviously feel free to skip if you don't care. But actually in Bridgerton, this house is used several times in combination with about 3 or 4 different manor houses. So like all of the Duke's filming of his house and everything isn't just in this house, and there's other things like in the first episode where Daphne's going to see the Queen, that's actually filmed in this house too, which I thought was, you know, it was pretty interesting. So this is Wilton House, which is near Salisbury. It's actually a place of residence for the Earl of Pembroke and is the current place of residence for the 18th Earl of Pembroke. And they've lived there for like 400 years. This is a pretty old house. And you can actually go and visit this house and like take a tour of it during the summer months. I mean, not so much now because of lockdown, but maybe next year. Which I thought was pretty interesting. They live in like a third of the house, so there's 2/3 of this house that you can go and like walk around and have a look at all the filming locations and everything else, which is pretty cool. So this house was also used for several other period dramas and films and things, such as Outlander, Tomb Raider, Emma, The Crown, Young Victoria, Pride and Prejudice, you know, all those sorts of styled TV shows and films. There's loads of others, these were just the ones that I recognised. And yeah, they're all bits and pieces of those are all filmed in this house, which I thought was crazy. You know, but obviously this is a huge house, so I guess it doesn't really matter about the overlapping. Anyway, as for the history of this house, the original site was founded by King Egbert around 871 AD, so a really long time ago. And it was originally used as a priory, which then grew into what was known as Wilton Abbey. And it stayed as Wilton Abbey until the reign of King Henry VIII, and during his dissolution of all the monasteries, the abbey and all of its grounds were seized and presented to the first Earl of Pembroke, which was around the mid-1500s, so quite a long time after. And it's been in the family, I suppose, ever since, for the last like 400 years. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. The different bits and pieces of the house have either been like adapted or recreated or like rebuilt over the years, mostly because of wear and tear. You know, there was a fire, I think, in the late 1800s on one of the servant wings that like got completely rebuilt, and yeah, there's several things that have been restored and changed over the time, so I found it really difficult to find a floor plan. I did find one from the around 1617, I believe, which was probably during the first or second Earl's ownership of this house, and it's not anything like that it is now. I was literally going through Google for like, gosh, a good 4 hours trying to find different angles of the house and different kind of aerial views and things, because obviously I had no floor plan to work off of, so I had to try and find what it looked like from, you know, elsewhere. So that being said, I would like to point out that this is an artistic recreation. I have changed quite a bit of it, and yeah, the original house, the house itself and all of its like grounds and things that belong to this site makes up 14,000 acres, so it's huge. And that I could not fit that into this lot. This is the biggest lot. It's a 64 by 64 in Brindleton Bay on the Hound's Head lot. This one I thought was probably the nicest because it's already gated off. Unfortunately, it doesn't line up with the thumbnail on the gallery, so I might have to figure out how to change the thumbnail, because it literally is like pointing straight into a wall and it just doesn't look right. But yeah, I've kind of taken some artistic liberties with this, so I hope you don't mind. It's really difficult to try and translate things from real life into The Sims, and as my fellow Simmers, I'm sure you will agree, you have to add more detail and things to kind of make it look right and to make it make sense. So quite a lot of like the wall trims and the columns and things that you will see on the building aren't necessarily there in like the real life building. But if I had left it without and kind of made it as exact as possible, it just kind of looked a bit boring, and you know, it was just like a blank wall of blocks or bricks or whatever, and there was no detail to it, and it just didn't look right in The Sims. So I have changed slight pieces. It still looks, I think it still looks very similar to the house itself, it's just changed slightly. I haven't furnished this, so when I go to furnish it, I might change like small details here and there. But that brings me to my first question for you today. Would you like to see the interior? I haven't furnished it at all, so if you do, then I will obviously do that over the next couple of days and try and post that video on Wednesday. So yeah, if you would like to see me furnish it, then please leave me a comment and let me know, and I will try and do that. My second question for you is on the right hand side of this, which is currently the left side of the screen. There's like a long shaped building. A little bit later in the video I turn that into a garage, as that is what it's currently being used for by the current Earl of Pembroke. So he's really into like supercars and classic cars and things, and he's got like a huge collection. It's crazy the things that you find out when you try and research a house. I got a bit carried away. But anyway, he's got, you know, this huge collection of cars which he keeps in this garage, but I'm not sure if it was originally like an original part of the house or whether it was added on. I couldn't find that anywhere. All I found was details about the rooms. But back to what I was saying. In the show, which is set in 1813, obviously they wouldn't have cars, so it would have been used as like a coach house or stables or something. So what do you think I should do? Should I leave it as a garage and keep it more modern and true to how it is now, or should I make it more true to the show and turn it into like a carriage house or stables, which is probably what it would have been in the 1800s, you know. So yeah, also let me know. So now we have all of that history and everything out of the way. I will do my shout out. So for anyone who hasn't videos, what am I talking about? For anyone who hasn't seen any of my videos before, I am trying to shout out one person each video who has inspired me or been supportive or anything like that to me and the community. And so today I thought it was appropriate to mention EvaDesign. Now, when I found this channel, I hadn't really built anything particularly big before, so they are definitely, you know, a huge inspiration to me building these huge things. And, you know, like having the confidence to build things this big, I'd never really tried it before, and you know, I'd never even considered it before actually. And I was searching through the show us your builds tag on Twitter, and I came across one of Eva's posts, and went to the channel and watched whatever video it was that was in the post, and I think I just like sat there in awe for like half an hour and then spent the rest of the day binge watching the entire channel. So yeah, very, very inspiring. And you know, if you've watched any of these videos and you've heard these shout outs and you haven't gone to have a look at them, please go and have a look at Eva's channel. If you don't look at any others, please look at hers, because they're amazing. Honestly, I don't really know how else to describe them. But yeah, definitely inspired me to create some of these bigger builds for you, and I guess I've had a lot of fun because I've carried on. But yeah, let me know if you would like to see the interior, and let me know what to do with the garage, because I'm a little bit stumped in that area. But yeah, so I also would like to mention that maybe on Thursday or Friday last week, the channel hit 400 subs, which I think is amazing. When I started this, I literally, it was just to kind of see if I could build on my, I don't know, my building skills and my confidence in like speaking. For anyone who doesn't know, like I could never do this. I could never speak in front of people. I could never record myself speaking for, you know, 1 or 2 people, let alone 400 people. I remember doing voiceovers and things for, well, voiceovers, recordings and things for like school and for college and uni, and being a complete, you know, stumbling idiot and not being able to say anything because I was just so nervous. And in that instance, you know, only maybe 1, 2 people were going to hear what I was saying, so in comparison this is a little bit overwhelming. But I don't seem to have a problem with it anymore, and it, you know, I feel quite comfortable. I don't know whether that comes across. It probably doesn't. But you know, I have fun with it, and I've surprised myself. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of you, and yeah, I think it will be interesting to see where this kind of goes in the future, if I can, I don't know, carry on with it, or we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for all of your supports and your comments and your likes and your, you know, subscribing and everything. I don't really mention it very often, but it really does help me when you guys, you know, comment and like on my videos. So yeah, thank you. So I should probably talk some about this build. I couldn't find anything that was remotely like the fountain in the kind of images and the video clip from the show. So I decided that I was just going to make my own, and sizing up that fountain that you just see me do, and lowering it down like that meant that the like the ground underneath it showed through, and I couldn't change the floor tiles because I'd made like that circular shape out of those, like, what are they, room things, and so I've put a sized up rug underneath it in hopes that it will kind of look like water. I don't know whether it does, but I thought it looked okay. These windows, I've done the similar thing on the back that I did earlier. I end up putting a archway behind this because, you know, once you size up a window or a door, it keeps the shape that the original size makes, even though the frame changes, so you end up with this like weird kind of half hole. So you have to put like another window over the top or something to make the, I don't know, the hole, the window shape bigger. So I've used arches. These roof pieces, I noticed in one of the pictures that there was extra detailing on the roof, so I've just added these little bits. Back into this garden, I had originally placed all of these hedges that you see, not these little tiny square ones in the bottom, not the long ones. I sized them down and then placed them individually all over the borders of this front garden area, kind of like I'm doing now, but on all of the edging. And I noticed that my game started to lag a little bit, and I thought, if mine is doing this whilst I'm building it and I'm not even finished, you know, what's it going to be like for anyone who downloads it? It's going to, you know, be so slow and laggy. So I end up using a debug hedge, which is a lot longer than, you know, those little squares. It's not quite as defined as I was hoping, but I thought it was better to use less objects so that it doesn't take forever to load than, you know, try and make it look perfect and place all of these individual little hedge pieces down and then, you know, ruin everyone's game and their computers. So that's what I've done here. I figured it was probably best to use these for the like detailed pieces, because I can use tool and lower them down like I am doing now to just make them like a little border for the plants. Every picture that I found of this garden was different, so that was one of the challenges that I found with building this whole thing, is that every picture that I found was from a different year or a different season, so all of the gardens change, and it doesn't, like, there was no consistency to it, so I just had to pick one and go with it. And so what I end up doing is I couldn't find the trees that I wanted, so I ended up making my own. I use a stick from I think it's Outdoor Retreat. It's like the one that you stick like the marshmallows and s'mores and things on, and then just, you know, put a bush on the top. The pictures that I found of this garden, the trees, you know, the ones I made, were, I guess they were like topiary trees, but they weren't the ones, well, they weren't anything like the ones that we got from Get Together, so I figured it was probably better that I just make it myself and make it look as close as I possibly could. I do end up making the archway. I think I must have done it off camera, but I use this bridge here, and then I size up a coffin and put another one on the top for the detailing on the side, and then use I think it's from, oh gosh, I don't know whether it's from City Living or Get Famous, but it's a statue of a horse. And I put that on top because the like, you know, real life gateway has got a picture, gosh, what am I talking about? A statue of like a man on a horse, and I couldn't find anything like that in the game, so I had to kind of just go with the horse. I tried to put one of the other statues and make it look like they were riding the horse, but the only one I could find that looked anything like it and that fit kind of well was the science one, I think it is, you know, the astronaut, which it didn't look right and it didn't fit, so I just left it as the horse. But unfortunately, I guess I forgot to film it, so you will see screenshots, but it's not filmed. So here I struggled with the different heights of like the whole building, I suppose. Because I've looked at so many different pictures, I change bits and pieces all over the place as I'm going, because I find, you know, find a new picture and then change kind of what needs changing. But what I did notice is I've actually omitted an entire floor from this house because it was just way too big, and I wanted to get the bell tower in, but obviously you can only have 4 floors in The Sims, and that bell tower is technically on the 6th floor, so I had to take out an entire floor and then, you know, lift up a building that's not connected and then move the roof across, which I'd done a while ago and you probably saw. But I did notice that different like angles of the house, there are different levels. So like one side has got 4 floors and the other side's got 5 floors, and obviously we can't do that in this game. So I've used the platforms to kind of change the heights just for like the entryways, if that makes sense. So like behind this door there's like a small piece that's raised, and then the stairs go down into the house, and I've done that for 3 of the 4 entrances. I really wanted to get the Palladium bridge in, but unfortunately there was just not enough space, so unfortunately I, you know, had to sacrifice that. But I'm really glad that I managed to get this garden in, because I don't know, I'm just really proud of this one. This one probably took me the longest to do because trying to get those triangles figured out was just hell. And I've used some curved room pieces to try and create like the curved detailing in the triangle flower beds. In the picture that I found, they're all sort of curved and angled, and that was really difficult to do. So I've, you know, used the room pieces, but I've left the bordering off because I couldn't curve the bordering, and I couldn't draw like fence lines anywhere near where the curves was, so I've had to use a debug item from, I think it's Jungle Adventure, to line the flower beds. This is the garage that I was talking about, whether I should turn it into like a coach house or keep it as a garage. I had ideas of trying to build my own coach. I haven't attempted it, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. But if you guys decide yes, turn it into a coach house, then I will try and do that. Otherwise, I will probably just fill it with skill building items like the woodworking bench, that sort of thing, and debug cars, because I don't really know what else to put in there because it's huge. But yeah, this section is probably the part that I made up the most, I suppose, because there's actually a very small chapel over this side, and I couldn't get it all in, so I might add the chapel maybe, but we'll see. This bordering isn't actually on the house, I just wanted to add a little bit more detail to it, and I don't know, I thought it was just an interesting feature and it just made it look nicer. So we're now going into the like the square, I guess, once we've done this. But yeah, the square that you are about to see, I changed several times because I thought that there was doors on all four sides, but there isn't. There's actually only doors on the front and back. I'm like leading to the front and back doors, but there's hallways. Maybe if I do the other video, I'll tell you all about my floor plan struggles then, because it was interesting. But yeah, once I have done this garden, we are pretty much almost ready. So I tried to recreate a Winter's Edge garden but failed miserably, so please don't mind this weirdness. But yeah, let me know what you think I should do about those two questions that I asked. You know, do you want to see the interior? What should I do with the garage? That sort of thing. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like it? Have I done it right? Please like this video if you do like it, and consider subscribing if you enjoy my videos and you would like to see more. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I love all of you so very, very much, and I'm so thankful for every single one of you. So that being said, I will hopefully see you all next time. Bye.